Hi, this is Kevin Borich on Retrospectives with John Broughton on KC Radio 97.7 FM.
Yeah. Growing up in New Zealand, what sort of music was catching your ear to start with to make you want to pursue a career in music?
I just started enjoying listening to the radio, but when I sort of saw Rock Around the Clock, the movie,
yep,
and I saw Fats Domino, Little Richard, and the Comets and stuff like that, and Bo Diddley, just normal stuff like that. You know, that wasn't normal. It was actually, you know, groundbreaking stuff that I just thought, this is something else, you know. And that's kind of the first. I just used to listen to the radio, and after I saw that movie, I knew that there was something really going on, and you know, tried to sort of get records of those artists and listen to them. And well, it wasn't until down the track I really started getting more into like guitar playing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But just the rock and roll thing was sort of so exciting that that's what sort of got me interested, I guess. And about 13 years old, my parents got me a guitar, and I started learning a few chords and a few songs, and then basically started to find out what style I liked, I suppose. But you know, like when I started playing at school, at the high school, in the band that was to become the Ladi Das, we were sort of just doing covers of what was going on. You know, anything from the Shadows to later on when we started playing in Auckland at one club called the Platter Rack. We'd play from like 8 at night till about 6 in the morning,
mm-hmm.
because it was a joint where all the prostitutes and seamen went. So it was open all night, and we just got to play a lot. We'd pick out songs, and by that stage it was, you know, a few years later after I left school, and we were doing that stuff and playing like anything from Four Tops to the Byrds to Bob Dylan, a few Beatles, Rolling Stones, just playing the pop stuff and picking out what we liked, you know.
Were you pretty serious about the guitar right from the start? Do you remember being terribly ambitious in those days?
Well, not really. I just sort of rode the wave, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just like what I was doing, and got a lot of enjoyment out of being able to sort of, you know, play the notes and get them to sound like the songs. It was a bit of a challenge, and when you'd pull it off, it made you feel really happy, and doing it was satisfying stuff, you know.
What would have been the state of the music scene in New Zealand when you left it behind?
Well, we'd sort of come over here a few times first to test the water, but out of doing that gig at the Platter Rack, we got a guy called Eldred Stebbing came to see us play. The word was out, there was a good band playing at this place, so he came out. He was looking for someone to cover some songs that he had, and he picked us, and we got to record. So we got into the top 10 really early in the piece, and we had Screaming Girls and all that sort of stuff happening, because we topped the charts over there with a couple of songs. So we got really popular really quickly, and we were touring, doing tours, but didn't actually have to come over here. The only bands before us had been like Max Merritt and Ray Columbus the Invaders, who were two of my favourite bands that I used to go and watch before we started gigging as the Ladi Das. And they went to Aussie, so it was a natural progression to do that, you know.
Yeah. You get back over there much these days?
I'm going back in December, but not as. Hopefully, that'll be the start of each time. I've been back into a couple of festivals. That was great. The last tour we were to do with Mark Williams and Mark Hunter, the late Mark Hunter, and unfortunately, they put it on right in the middle of the Olympic Games. It was really dumb. And it was a great show, but unfortunately people were staying home watching the volleyball or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been strange. I hope from this next one in a few weeks, we'll get to go back more regular. But I just haven't farmed it, as it were.
Mm.
I should do. I hope I will. I hope this will be the start of going back more regular.
When you first came over here, did you have any preconceived notions of what to expect when you got to Australia?
Always pretty scared. We're pretty scared of coming to a big place like this, and,
Yeah.
and funny enough, where do you end up living? Right in the heart of King's Cross. So it was like, great initiation period. And we used to wear really stupid, wild clothes in those days. We were right into the fashion thing,
Mm-hmm.
And always like, shiny clothes. Still got some outrageous gear that I wear sometimes. But, so we used to wear that, and, and we'd probably, we'd cop it quite a bit from, we used to wear it not just on stage, but in the street. And, it was quite scary, we'd get called poofters and, get, chased and stuff like that. We had a few hard moments, but I don't know, we just kept doing it. It was just something we liked doing.
Who would have been some of your first musical contacts you made when you got here?
Ivan Damien, I think, was the first guy. We played at Rod Austin's Jungle. That was our first ever gig. The late Rod Austin, who was a DJ. We played at the whole stadium. It was the boxing stadium down Rush Cutters Bay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Actually did a show there, and I can't remember who. I think we might have opened. I can't remember who it was for. It might have been for the Easy Beats or something like that. I can't remember. It was a revolving stage. All I remember was standing on the revolving stage, but I didn't stand on the revolving bit. And I was sort of, playing the guitar, looking out and going, having a good time. And I was turning around, and the whole band's
the other side.
around. Yeah, that was my. You remember those sort of moments.
Can you pinpoint a time when you think the La-Di-Dahs really came of age and became the band that you set it out to be from day one?
When we started writing our own stuff, and we were playing at the Here discotheque over in North Sydney. It was a good place, and we were starting to write quite a lot of stuff. And I personally wasn't writing, but Trevor and Bruce were more advanced musically than me at this stage. And we were sort of quite adventurous in playing extended versions of Traffic songs. I mean, we really loved the Traffic, Steve Woodward's band, and the English band, because they were sort of soul-y, and we liked soul music. We also liked Hendrix, and we'll sort of try to mould all those styles into our when we'd write, we'd try and get that sort of thing. And we had a few good tracks. So I think we did reach what we set out to do. And the boys wrote that Heavy Prince, sort of like the first rock opera thing. And that was an idea they had back in New Zealand, and we never really got to do it until we were here. So while by the time we did it was an old idea. But it stands up pretty good now. Just like it'd be a great animated film soundtrack. Yeah.
The Sunbury festivals down here, do you have any memories of those?
Yeah, fantastic memories. Especially the one with Deep Purple. We played, and Richie Blackwell a couple of nights came and played it with us down at the Berties, which was a club in Melbourne at that stage. It was like speakeasy type clubs before the pub scene. In those days it was like you'd do 4 gigs a night, going to all these big dances around in the suburbs. All the bands would play 45 minutes, jump in their vans and zoom off to the next one. And Sunbury was great. I think we did it twice. Once when they were the headliners, Deep Purple. And I think just the other ones were just with Thorpe. The other one was just with Billy. Actually played with Billy last week.
Did you?
Up in Ipswich in Queensland. Not within his band, but we were on before him.
Okay. The split of the La-Di-Dahs, was that on the cards for a while? Could you see that coming, or was it a sudden thing?
Sorry?
The La-Di-Dahs splitting up, was that on the cards for a while, or was that something you could see coming?
Well, it's like, we grew up out of school together, so it's like people that you went to school with, you probably don't keep in contact, or we kind of grew apart. When you're young and you have an idea, and then you all sort of on the same wavelength, but as you grow, you sort of actually get slightly different tastes, and actually grow as a person. You can't be expected to sort of stay together. But as a band, we stayed together a hell of a long time, really, compared to most bands. And I guess we just grew apart, you know. Everyone started to get into different things or like different styles. I wanted to sort of start writing my stuff and performing it and doing my own vocal and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just disintegrated. It was a bit like the 10 Little Indians. We did go to England, but we saved. We saved, like, you know, 5 guys and a roadie, Swampy, the famous roadie, Ryan Jarvis. He worked with a lot of people. We were like his first band. You know, we went to England with, we saved $3,000, got the air tickets and had $3,000 to spend. Well, 5 of us or 6 of us went and just landed there, you know. No manager, no nothing. And bought a mini miner and lived out on the Henley on Thames, out in the country, and just did everything wrong, you know. But had a great time. Did a lot of growing up. Wrote lots of music out in the countryside. Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, as I say, you know, we just after we came back from there, that's when the demise sort of happened. We'd done what we as far as we could go. People wanted to do other things, and it was not an ugly split, but it was a gradual thing. Sort of fell apart. We went 4-piece, and then Phil and I split up, and that's when I went 3-piece, and he had the Band of Light. Phil Key, that is. He's passed away now.
Now, you were pretty sure, I guess, of the type of band you wanted when you first formed the Express?
I was starting to write, so I just wanted to perform those things, and wanted to keep it small, you know, just bass and drums. I mean, you know, Cream were doing things, Hendrix was doing things just with the bare minimum of pieces, and I'd already been in a band with an organ for most of my life playing, so I just wanted to get away from that and just, you know, just be the guitar thing. So it was just a matter of getting the confidence to be able to sing and play and entertain the people and keep a crowd happy.
Yeah. Now, speaking of crowds, I guess one of the biggest crowds you ever played to was down here at the Rock Arena show at Calder.
Yeah.
Yeah, strong memories there?
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest. I think I played with one that was a free concert at the My Music Bowl, which was like, they're supposed to be 100,000 there. But the one at Calder is naturally the one, because I ended up playing with Santana on stage, and he got me up, and he was really great. And in the 80s, he came out and people rang me up, and I went and had another jam, and he had Buddy Miles singing with him. So that was about the closest thing I've got to seeing Hendrix, was seeing Buddy Miles sing and play with Santana, and I was up there having a jam with him.
I noticed on your website you had some footage of that Calder.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Where did you dig that up from? That's fantastic.
We asked, we found out he filmed it. I can't remember which channel it was. Who actually filmed it, and they actually sent it to us, which was really nice of them.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see that again.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and you just look out there at that crowd. I mean, it just never stops. It's just awe-inspiring. It's pretty scary getting out there, and there's all this sea of humanity out there. But and it's the fact when he got me on stage, the crowd just went berserk, because it was like he was acknowledging an Australian performer, and they loved that.
Yeah. You're more comfortable in large outdoor shows like that, or you prefer the pub venue, where I guess you get a better quality of an audience rather than a quantity?
I know they're both great. I mean, I love to play in the really big situations like that. I mean, because you don't do it a lot, but it's also, I don't know, you feel like you have to be more superhuman, you know, to sort of overcome or to reach to the people, because there's so many of them. I mean, it's always nice doing a sweaty little pub or something like that. But if I had the choice, I guess it'd be the playing the arena thing until you'd probably get sick of that too, wouldn't you? Like all the big bands do. They go do unannounced shows in little clubs just to get back to where they used to be.
The Party Boys, how do you look back on that time now?
That was really interesting, because the concept was Paul Christie's, and the idea of just getting some people together and playing at a wild beach was fun. Sounded like fun. So James Rain was the first singer. We recorded that, and it was sort of, people weren't doing things like that, and it seemed to strike a chord with people, and we did the album with him, and then had Richard Clapton and Cheryl sing, and Mark Hunter sang, and then of course Joe Walsh came out. So it was just interesting to play with different people, and it was basically a cover band, I guess. We probably started off the whole concept thing, I don't know, but it was interesting, and we made a lot of, we sort of made some good money out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of wasn't a band, it was just a fun thing.
Yeah.
And when, it was great when Joe Walsh came out, because he's just such a fantastic character and a great player. And I never thought he'd ever come out and join us. I thought it was a joke, because most American artists like that, who would have managers and writers and all that, he just turned up with a guitar and wanted a boogie. So, and then it sort of turned into a normal band when we had the hit record and with Swanee, and that was fun, having a hit record and stuff. And it just basically turned into a normal lineup then. It wasn't what it was before. But we did, enjoy the success.
I guess the timing was pretty right for it too, because it was around the time when the pub scene was pretty strong, the beer barn sort of circuit. Yeah.
Well, that was, it's a pity now. It's not as strong now, because young bands coming up, they don't have anywhere to go and practice their craft and work to an audience. We were doing 5 nights a week.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. And looking back on it now, how the way the scene is diminished now, and they've just got poker machines and I don't know, there's just, the internet, there's so many other variables, it's the booze buses or whatever. There's so many factors. The fact that, that maybe people they just got so much more entertainment, other things to do, but at that stage it just seemed to be the thing to do, to go out to a pub and watch a good band, and there was plenty of good bands, and lots and lots of work.
Would you like to tour at that level again, or are you pretty comfortable sort of with a weight sort of scaled down now?
I think it'd be nice to have more places to play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure younger acts musicians coming up would like that, because they could actually make a living out of it. Whereas now a lot of bands, just do it. They have to get the record deal and play in the garage, and because when I went to the States and to England, while it was ripe here and really happening here, I was over there going, gee, I hope Australia never gets like this, because there was not really a pub scene in America. There was not really in England. It was more like you work yourself up to a garage, and then you get a record deal, and then you try and become famous. But here you could be actually working and playing in front of people at a good venue, and it's turned into what it was over there. But I guess it's just things can't last forever, as far as that. They've got to go through different changes, and then it maybe come around again. Who knows?
Just up to more present time, there's something I was interested to see on your website, the Harbour Cruises that you do up there. Tell us a little bit about what that's all about.
Well, it's just inventing things. Not like the scene is basically pretty tight as far as places to play, and I don't know who thought of the idea of doing it, but we ended up doing one, and it was successful, and when people wanted to come onto it again, we had our mailing list happening, and they wanted to have more of them. We've done about a dozen so far. And it's just a different, really good night to go out and be on the harbour, and it's good value. People pay their $30 and come and get a harbour cruise, plus listen to a good band. And it's lots of fun, and it's quite intimate. There's only about 150 people. The boat's really good. It's got, it's covered if it rains. You can be right down there, and 2 inches from the guitar, or you can be on the stern of the boat, looking out at, under the bridge or something,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of people enjoy it, and that's why we keep doing it.
Any thoughts of trying something up and down the Yarra like that?
Yeah, well, like there's a Brisbane River too, and people have suggested it. We haven't really checked out the logistics of it, but I think it could be something.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of finding the right vessel and working out, if it's worth doing, because it's quite expensive to hire boats and stuff.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Just for the people down there that haven't had a chance to see you for a while, what is the current makeup of your band?
John Anderson's on the drums, who's played with me for a long time. And Ben Rosen's on bass. He's a great young bass player. So it's a three-piece thing.
Mm-hmm. And the makeup of your set, good cross-section of your career?
Yeah, it's we're doing a lot of the acoustic stuff from Kahuna,
mm-hmm.
and the electric sets a mixture of some old stuff and the stuff from Half-Starter. So it depends how far the crowd pushes to how far back we go, really. But we do get to sort of touch on most areas.
If you had to pin it down to one thing, Kev, what would be your secret to survival for so long in the music biz?
Thick skin. I don't know. No, I think just like a music, just like I guess it's like a junkie or something. You know, you just once you've been doing it and you love doing it, doesn't so you have your hard times when there's not many people there of stuff and you think, oh, well, this is not really worth it, but then you'll go and do the next few nights you'll do a fantastic one and you've forgotten all about the bad one.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of travelling. I think it's just you're just addicted to playing the guitar and playing your own music. And
I believe you're on the move to Queensland.
Yeah, we've done that. We've done the big sell up, and we're just renting at the moment in Caloundra. We've got 3 kids. We've got twin daughters, 3 years old, and a little boy about a year old. And I'd lived in Bondi and around eastern suburbs in the cities for most of my life after I left the farm in New Zealand. And thought that one day I'd end up back on the land sort of thing, have some space at least, not just a little box out the back. And about 9 years ago, my wife and I saw this land, about 80 acres up in the hills behind the Glasshouse Mountains up there.
Mm-hmm.
A place called Mullaney, and every time I'd tour up there, I'd go and plant a tree and come back 3 months later on another tour and see if it was still there. And so now we're building a house there. Should be finished in the end of January. And we've got to building the house, but there's lots of granite rock on the land. So brother-in-law and I are doing rock walls in the house. So I've been toting that barge and lifting that bale.
It's been hard, yeah.
I've got myself a tractor and everything. I've got a Massey Fergie backhoe because it's like I have to dig underground power in.
Yeah.
And electricity's there, but there's no town water or anything like that. So I've been like my second child in the big sand pit with a real Tonka toy.
The old Tonka toys, yeah.
You got it.
Got a home studio happening there too?
Definitely, yeah. We've got the downstairs with extra bedrooms, and it's going to be. I'm going to have it as a place for my friends and musicians to pass through, like my band and that, to come and rehearse and really have time to get together and do some recordings there. Plus, just get them up when I'm touring to rehearse, and it should be a great environment,
Tremendous. And just before we wind up, there's a new CD on the way, I believe.
Yeah, we just picked it up today, actually. It's live at the Continental. It's called One Night Jam, and the title, because of the 2 people that's guesting on the CD, Ross Wilson is playing harmonica on about 3 or 4 tracks and singing one of his own.
Mm-hmm.
And Wendy Saddington, who used to sing with The Chain. I don't know if you remember Wendy?
Of course, yeah.
And we always wondered what happened to Wendy. She joined the Hare Krishna and sort of got away from the scene. And a friend of mine, we were coming down to do a show there, and at the Continental, he says, Paul Murphy was a friend of mine, and he said, why don't you, Ross is, I don't know how he was just either making it up, or he said Ross Wilson wants to come and have a play and get Wendy up, and that. So we did, and I'm glad that I did get someone to record, and I recorded it, and it's pretty sort of rough, but it's got the good spirit, And she sings about 5 songs of hers. We just rehearsed the sound check that day, My son's playing the drums. So I'm glad I recorded it because it came up great. We just got a limited edition, and it's available now.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
That's great, Kev. Look, thanks for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Been a treat talking to you, and I'm sorry to keep you at this ridiculous hour.
No, this is fantastic because we've got to let people know, and thanks to people like yourself that gets the word out there.